July 4th, 2013, and today is the Independence Day of the United States, and we are starting with a very important sutra from Patanjali Yoga, that is Sutra number 25 of the fourth Pada, known as Kaivalya Pada. Visheshadarshinaha Atmabhava Bhavana Vinivritti. Visheshadarshina Atmabhava Bhavana Vinivritti. Om. If one has the right type of realization of discriminating and develops a discriminating wisdom, so he is a Vishesha Darshan, because normally we don't look within, we generally look without. And by looking within, by the process of meditation, samadhi, if we develop that discriminating wisdom, then what happens? Atma bhava bhavana vinivritti. So normally what is happening, that it is on account of their connection with consciousness that they are functioning. All the evolutes of Prakriti, including the mind stuff, they are functioning by virtue of their connection with consciousness. And consciousness, on the other hand, even though consciousness is just an impartial observer, he does not act, he does not experience anything, still then he feels as if he is performer and he is experiencer of happiness and unhappiness. When on account of samadhi, the chitta realizes the real discriminating position, the real position that avyakta is different, vyakta is different, and jna is different. Vyakta, avyakta, and jna. Jna is consciousness. So consciousness is different from vyakta as well as avyakta. That is Prakriti, and Prakriti is avyakta and vyakta is its evolutes. So when the mind develops that wisdom, discriminating wisdom, and realizes the real consciousness as distinct from the mind stuff, so then it loses its sense of ownership. It is no longer an owner. Nothing is owned by anyone or anybody or any chitta or any mind. So Atma Bhava Bhavana Vinivritti, the very sense of ownership goes. And then what happens? Next verse, next sutra. tada vivekanimnam kaivalya pragbharang chittam. So then, after this sense of ownership goes away from the chitta, then what happens? Viveka nimnang, and then uh, being made modest on account of discriminating wisdom, the chitta is kaivalya pragbharam. Kaivalya pragbharam means that the sense of loneness, of the consciousness also develops in consciousness. So then it is kaivalya pragbharang chittam. Viveka nimnang kaivalya pragbharang chittam. Kaivalya pragbharang chittam. So the chitta is full of kaivalya, only the concept of, because the chitta is without any picture. There is no picture of any sense organs doing anything, motor organs doing anything, and there is no picture of any thought, anything. So there is nothing to be reflected in the mirror of consciousness. So the kaivalya pragbharang chittam. So the chitta is also free. Chitta is also free, and it has done its job already, and now nothing else to be done. Tachidreshu, the next sutra is there. Tachidreshu pratyayantarani samskarebhyah. But the impressions are there, and from the impressions comes other thoughts also coming. So it is not yet fully liberated, but it is between liberation, and it is the preparatory to liberation stage comes, and in that stage other thoughts also come in from the impressions, from the various impressions stored in the mind. Other thoughts also come. So his practical life is not altogether disturbed. The practical life also continues with him. If he is working in some office or somewhere, those works will also continue. So tachidreshu pratyayantarani samskarebhya. So from those impressions, the other pratyayas, other cognitions, other items of knowledge will also be emerging. Of course, hanameshang kleshavaduktam, hanameshang kleshavaduktam. Patanjali advises the practitioner that those pratyayantarani, those other thoughts, practical thoughts, are also required to be subjugated. They are also required to be subjugated. And just like kleshas, avidya, asmita, raga, dvesha, vinivesha, pancha klesha, as kleshas are to be eliminated, eradicated, so these thoughts coming from the holes, these alternative thoughts, they also are to be required to be subjugated. And then it says, prasankhyanepi akusidasya sarvatha vivekakhyate dharma megha samadhi. So, after prasankhyana means that after that discriminating wisdom develops, and one realizes the vyakta, avyakta and gya are different, that knowledge, that realization is there. So even then, if there is an offer of some position and he does not budge an inch, his meditation is not disturbed. So prasankhyanepi akusidasya, that is to say, he does not surrender to practical needs. So prasankhyanepi akusidasya, that not akusidasya means not a businessman likes behavior. So even after that developing discriminating wisdom, if one does not develop a businessman's approach to the problem, and even if he considers this his good relationship with his relatives and friends and all that, so that is, but he does not budge an inch, he does not behave in a business-like manner, even at that stage. So then his meditation, his meditation will come, and his meditation will be called as cloud of righteousness, dharma megha samadhi. That is to say, it will emit rains, that cloud of righteousness, which will fulfill all the needs of yogic practitioner. So the only thing is to be remembered that he is not the all the powers that are interested in disturbing his meditation or meditative practice, they fail and he succeeds. And that Chitti Shakti succeeds, and that cloud of righteousness emerges in him. Dharma megha samadhi. Tataha klesha karma nivrittihi. 30th. Tata klesha karma nivrittihi. Thereafter, all kleshas and all karma accounts of course they come to an end. His kleshas come to an end, and his karma accounts also come to an end. This is 30th Sutra. And then 31 Sutra, 31st Sutra reads तदा सर्वावरण मलापेतस्य ज्ञानस्य आनन्त्यात् ज्ञेयम् अल्पम् तदा सर्वावरणमलापेतस्य ज्ञानस्य आनन्त्यात् ज्ञेयम् अल्पम्. So then emerges a jnana, the real knowledge, the real realization. And in what form? Free from all covers and all dirts. Sarva varana malapetasya jnanasya. And that knowledge is infinite. So when that knowledge is infinite and you attain that knowledge, then what is this knowledge of small things? So the very little remains what is to be known. Sarva varana malapetasya jnanasya anantyat Gyam alpam. Very little is to be known now. Very little. So Gyam alpam, it is the object of knowledge is very little to be known. There, after that knowledge, this one, the Gya, the object or the something that is known, it becomes too little. There is nothing much to learn. So the Gya becomes alp. So for a yogi, there is nothing that is unknown to him. So Jnanasya anantyat Gyam alpam tata kritarthanam parinamakram samaptir gunanam atha kritarthanam parinamakram samaptir gunanam. And Gyam alpam, this has been shown by a very beautiful epigram. And the epigram reads like this: Andho manima vidyat. A blind person has made holes in a diamond. Andho manima vidyat tamanal guliravayat. And someone devoid of any fingers applied strings to it, and agrivastang pratyamunchat. And one who had no neck, he wore it. He put it in that necklace. And tamajevvo bhyapujayat. And one who had no tongue, he appreciated it, and he said, all right, very well done, my dear boy. So it will be just like that. There is no possibility of the recurrence of the cycle of rebirth and re-death, or that relationship, that type of relationship, on account of the connection with consciousness, everything works, and the consciousness feels because the mirror is there, and in that mirror the various activities of the three gunas or of the mind, they work. So he thinks that he is doing this and he is happy, he is unhappy. So, but all these things will become impossible now after the knowledge, after the realization of the self, the real self. And tata kritarthanam parinama kramasamaptirgunanam, and those gunas now become kritartha. Those gunas, those sattva, rajas and tamas, they become kritartha. They fulfill their duties by providing means of enjoyment and means of living. So when the gunas have done their job of providing means of enjoyment and means of liberation, then it is all there. The process of transformation, the process of their transformation from ahankara from mahat to ahankara to sense organs, motor organs, mind, subtle elements, gross elements, etc., etc., etc. So that transformational process, that comes to an end because they are kritartha, they have done their job. And then kshana pratiyogi parinama paranta nirgrahya kramaha. There are two types of eternities in this school. One eternity is kutastha eternity. That is eternity where the thing does not undergo any transformation. That is kutastha nityata. And the upper is parinama nityata. That the thing is eternal, but it undergoes transformation. Parinama nityata. So, what is parinama? What is transformation? Transformation begins with kshana, moment, and it goes on changing from moment to moment. But when the gunas perform their duties in toto to consciousness, then there is nothing that is required to be done anymore. So kshana pratiyogi parinamant parinama paranta nirgrahya kramaha. So kshana pratiyogi is kshana. Ghata bhava. So abhava pratiyogi is ghata, that it is not here. So sthalam idam घट प्रतियोगी and parinaman paranta nirgrahya, and there is a pata here. Ghata has transformed into pata. So transformation is that is kshana pratiyogi, that is it is the reverse of it. Wherever there is reverse of it, it stays. So that is the sequence. So in transformation there is sequence, and sequence is what? Kshana pratiyogi, that it begins with kshana, the first moment, and it continues until second moment, and so it goes on. The process of transformation goes on and on and on. But when the last sutra is 34, Purushartha Shunyanam Gunanam Pratiprasavah Kaivalyam Swarupa Pratishtava Chitishakte iti. So what happens? That gunas have done their job. They have provided means of enjoyment, means of liberation to the Purusha. And here, of course, they are not required to do anything more for Purusha, for their master. They have done their best. So then gunas have come to rest, so far as that particular Purusha is concerned. Gunas come to rest through the process of pratiprasava. You try to recollect the process of pratyahara. What is process of pratyahara? When the sense and motor organs, withdrawing themselves from their respective objects of nature, they place themselves into the mind. And then the mind thinks that it is just mind and it is nothing else. So there are two types of liberation. One liberation is that gunanang pratiprasavaha, that is the various gunas that had been moving forward in order to help the people. So that is liberation of Prakriti. Prakriti is liberated from that particular Purusha, from providing. Prakriti is liberated now when that Purusha comes and becomes, stands on his own. When that Purusha is Swarupa Pratishtha, tada drashtu swarupe vasthanam, then Prakriti doesn't have to do anything for him. So this is how, as explained by Vachaspati Mishra, the liberation or salvation is of two kinds. One liberation is provided to Prakriti. So Prakriti is liberated after Purushartha Shunyanang Gunanang Pratiprasavaha. So purushartha shunyanang gunanang pratiprasavah kaivalyam. So this is the liberation of Prakriti. And then the second one, Swarupa Pratishtava Chiti Shaktehe iti, or but here or means and how is consciousness liberated? The Swarupa Pratishtha. Chiti Shakti, that consciousness, the source of all cognition, Chiti Shakti, when it is placed on its own, when it is well established on its own Swarupa Pratishtha, then it becomes fully liberated. Swarupa Pratishtha va Chiti Shakti riti. So the definition of Kaivalya goes into two parts. One is the liberation of Prakriti from its responsibility to Purusha. Responsibility, twofold responsibility. To provide means of enjoyment, that is number one. And number two, to provide and means of liberation. The last sutra, Purushartha Shunyanang Gunanang Pratiprasavah Kaivalyam, this definition of liberation pertains to Prakriti. Prakriti is liberated so far as that particular consciousness is concerned. And the other part, Swarupa Pratishtava Chiti Shakti or Chiti Shakti iti, that pertains to the liberation of Purusha consciousness. So the last sutra, Sutra 34 of Kaivalyapada, gives the two definitions of liberation. One, liberation of Prakriti, and the other, liberation, final liberation of Purusha. That's all. So both are, Prakriti is liberated from her responsibility to provide means of enjoyment and means of liberation, and Purusha is liberated. Nothing new happens by placing himself in his own form, by disregarding the reflections of the pictures that emerge in evolute's mirror, in the mirror of mind. So the mirror of mind is clear, and so mind is clear, and the clear mind reflects clearly in Purusha. So Purusha is also clear. But Purusha becomes liberated only when he is well placed on his own Swarupa Pratishtha. As in Ayurveda, there is somebody swastha, that when he is on his own, he is called healthy. So in Sankhya and Yoga, if somebody is well established in his own form, he is called liberated. So Om Yogena Chittasya Padena Vacham Malang Sharirasya Cha Vaidyakena Yopakarot Tang Pravarang Muninang Patanjaling Pranjaliranatosmi Patanjaling Pranjaliranatosmi. Om Shanti Shanti शांति।